Hi, welcome back. This is Rashid. As I promised in the previous video that I'm going to do this video on tickle basics. Okay, so I thought I will touch some of the basics in this video and then get back to this RTL to routing flow. But I think it makes sense that I spent a few more videos on it because as I started creating and I realized that okay, I think it's better that I give you a little background or some of the important things. I will not create a full list of all the tickle thing here. The key thing that are really important that you are going to use, I'm going to mention those. But I like to keep the video to be 15 minutes or so I thought it's better that okay, instead of just rushing through the tickle, I convey the important concepts, and even if it needs few more video, that's okay. So this particular video is going to be about some tickle data types, and we will create some variables of these types: strings, lists, and arrays. And these three are very important ones. So I will show you some examples. So I initially thought that I will cover these very important concepts. So this is super important in tickle. Tickle is simple. That's what I love about tickle. But if you don't understand some of the key concepts, you will struggle to debug this when you have an error there. And a lot of errors are around some of these things and around white spaces. So difference between this type of when you enclose something in inverted commas, curly brackets, and square brackets, what is the really use of those? That I will do in the next video. But this video is going to be about these ones. All right, let's get started. So look at these four examples. So I'm going to give you examples of strings and list. String is the core component in tickle. Even a number, string doesn't mean it is just characters. It can be a string of numbers too. Okay. So for example, I have four variables here that I'm defining. And I told you variables can be defined in this way with the keyword set and the variable name. There's no dollar here, just the name of the variable. And now these are different types with strings and list. So let's say I have a list of clocks. I have two clocks, clock A and clock B, that I want to pass to this variable. So one way is I just use them to here with a white space in between and pass this to this command. Okay, actually I even showed you. I'm not going to explain all, but I also use curly brackets here, but you will see in the second one I use curly bracket. Okay, in the third one I use a square bracket, but this time I use a command list, and then I put clock A, clock B. You understand that? So let's look into these one, and we just jump to the fourth one after this one. Just don't want to put too many things together. So now you have defined this variable containing two clocks. Let's print those on the screen. So again, if you have a shell, I think this will work in the tickle shell as well. If you don't have a particular tool shell like Cadence or Synopsys or open source tools, you can do that. I have Fusion compiler shell, so I tried it there only. So try echo and the dollar and variable each one. I just picked one, clocks 1, clocks 2. Do a echo or puts and see what comes. For each of these three, it will come something like a clock A, clock B. These are three different ways we define two clocks and assign to a variable. Okay, so you can use either of those, whichever method looks more appropriate or clear to you. The difference, the fourth one is this third one, you can use creating a list of lists. So if you look at this variable, I put list, and the first I put just this, the test clocks, test A, test B, and close them with a curly bracket. Then I use another set of curly brackets to put JTAG clocks and another with function 3 clock. This, why you probably thinking why I'm doing such a weird, why not one line? It could, you will see it a little bit later on. It could be that sometime you need to group certain elements together so that when you can access them, you can access them. For example, in this particular test mode, I access only these two. In the JTAG mode, I access only these two, and so on. All right. So going back to on 1, 2, 3, and I'll do a print of this one in a little bit. But whenever you have strings defined with these, and even this one is actually string of strings. Okay. So there is an important command, string. You probably need, I think I use Fusion compiler shells. You probably need that shell for that. I don't know if this will work in the basic tickle shell. I don't know. Keep in mind, there are a lot of commands in Cadence and in Synopsys, for example. Those are not native tickle. These are, you can say, those vendor-specific tickle. There are add-ons there. So some of those commands I'm going to mention you for the tool I'm using, they might not work in the basic tickle shell that comes in Unix installation. Understand? So you are on a shell of your tool. So here is something important. Sometime you can always do a like a manual on a command. So string is a command. This is not your own word. Okay, this has a special meaning by the tool. So you can use a string, and it has a lot of options that you can use. Very useful one to process data. This one, you need a first index, you need second index, you want to get a length of the string, how many characters are there, and so many other things. You want to convert from lowercase to uppercase or uppercase to lowercase. You can do all those functions, built-in functions, as part of the string. So you can look into man string, and that will display so much information on your screen. Or another way that I use typically is on a shell, I just type man and the command, and then this greater than sign means direct the output of this into this file. If this content already exists, it will override that file. And then in a separate terminal, I just open with less. This is only read only on Unix. And then I hit this log file, or I open VI. VI, as you can do edits in it, but we don't need to edit this file, so I prefer using less. So you can put the file name. So you can open it and really go through it, which option you can use it. Another actually cool thing, even if you don't have and you just want to look at, put a string on your Fusion compiler shell. Then hit, after you type string, hit tab key on your keyboard. It will list all the options available, like different options you can use with string command. Okay, and then for example, I'm using to upper, and I don't remember, it was to up I wrote, and then without typing anything else, I hit a tab. If these 4 characters match to an existing commands, hit tab will auto complete the rest of them. So you can make use of this thing to get a full list. I never remember everything, but it's always good to have some of these. String is a very key one. You can use that one. For example, you can use string, keyword, length, keyword, and $clocks1. It will give you 9. So just play with this too for all these or different variables. It will give you 9. What is 9? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and white space. If you put one white space, it will count as 1. If you put multiple white space, it will be counted as multiple. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in my variable, I only had one white space here, so it returned me 9. So similarly, run it on 2 and 3, and you will see it will return the same thing. So these means it didn't change the actual value of the content of it. Okay. Another important, sometimes we use this as a different way. This is not a string. This is another command that operates on a string. I would recommend using this one. Stick to one way, but there's another way. You can do length. Length is another command within the Fusion compiler shell. You do $clocks1, it will return to 2, not 9. because it has two 9 word spaces kind of strings. So this is really the length, list of the length, okay, list length. So it treats them with, whenever white space comes, it separates the two. So L length on this one will return 2. So that's also a nice information. And if you run it on this, it will return 2. If you do this on this one, it return 2. Okay, let's see what happens if I do on clock 4. This is my clock 4. Sorry. And so if you run L length on this one, it will return 3 because it has 3 first. And then within each of them you can go, you will see 2. You see that this kind of differentiates between this one. But if, for example, do an echo on this variable, and you will see what it displays. I'll show you another way of displaying now. So for each is another important loop command. There are other loop commands. I might actually go and tell you those later on, for or while, for example. But I'm using for each. This is used a lot, and it operates on strings. And let's say, it's very simple. Again, Tickle, what I love about Tickle is simplicity of it. So for each, this is the variable, you in the new variable, and you put $clocks1. So, and then curly bracket start, curly brackets end for the word each, and the content of it, you just do echo clock. So what happens is, it knows where the white space is, okay? So it kind of separate the whole string into different, whenever white space comes, it separate the next one. So the very first loop, it will bring clock A, it will put that value clock A into this variable, and then you display that. So when you display it, the first line will be clock A, second line will be clock B. So this is kind of nice way of iterating over the content, not the individual strings or characters, but actually the full kind of word separated by a white space, right? So a good way to display something like this one is this. For each, again, same way, clock, $clock4. Sorry, this is actually, I'm been treating this as, it was easy, quick, short name. Oops. Clocks4. Okay. And here is an interesting one. So exactly same way, I did this same way, but here's on each line it printed test A, test B, JTAG A, JTAG B, func A, func B. So it treated this whole as one thing, this whole as one thing, this whole as one thing. Okay, and then what you can do is you can run another for each loop on this one, just like this. So have another one inside this, then you will see test A, test B, JTAG A, JTAG B on each line that will print it. So that's your exercise. Try to run another loop of this one inside this and display not each one on a separate line. So that's your task, and play with that. The best way to learn Tickle is simple, just play a lot, just create variable, just iterate through them and all that. Okay, the last type that we're going to look today is arrays, and I have different examples for it and you will love them. So arrays, the way you define an array, so let's look into the first one. Let me bring this one. So you always kind of set an empty array first. So array is a command. You can use array command just like string I showed. There's an array command, and you can also do man array or man array redirected to a file and open that file as keep that as a reference. So within array there's an option set, just like string had a length, so array has set. You give the name, not the dollar, the name of the array that you're going to create, and I'm initializing it with nothing in the beginning. Okay. So, well, next look into this one. Sorry, ignore this thing. And then look into this. So, now I'm setting the value. So, even maybe ignore this one because I made an error. So, look into this one. You using set command. Now I'm using array. Maybe you can use it, but I'm just using set. The array is already defined, so I'm using clocks underscore ARR. I cannot use other brackets. I need to use these as these type of brackets. So parentheses. So under inside I put func as a key. I close it, and the func I define it as a clocks A, clocks B. You can use even a curly bracket here or whatever. This is the same like a strings I'm defining, which you already learned. Then I'm scanning. So same way again, scan, I'm using different clocks names. This is my clocks array basically. Clocks, JTAG, I'm using different names. Like that. So every time you define it in the terminal, you will see those are returned. So you can verify that. And that's what I was telling you. You can do man array into a log file, and then you can open that. Here is another thing I'm telling you. Add array. I typed array and then space and then hit a tab and got whatever option. There are a few more options. I didn't take the full snapshot. But I'm using array get now. I use set, now I'm get. And I'm giving the variable name not with dollar. Keep in mind, now sometimes can be confusing, but you can put a dollar and it will give you error, and you can remove a dollar. So this one, and here is what it return. When you do array get and the variable name of the array, it will give you a key first and the content of it, second key, then the content of it, third key, and then the content of that. If you use array names, instead of get, use names and the array names, then it only gives you keys. Remember that? The key is this value that we define here. Like it's like a two-dimensional array, right? Is it one dimension? No. Yeah, it's this is the key and this is the values, if you know what I mean. Then array, you can also use a command like if sometime you want to check if array exists or not. Let's say, for example, I gave array exists and I gave it a name which is not the name of my array. I just class ARR without underscore. If this array doesn't exist, it returns 0. And later on, I will show you in next video how to use if else to check those things. And array exists, this one exists, is return 1. Now here's an important one. Again, this one was the error. So you can make frequently these errors, but you can fix it. So for each loop, you can run in a nice way on an array. So again, for each, this is like my internal variable, and I'm using the command array names. And these commands, whether I'm use curly, why I didn't use curly brackets here, I'll show you in the next video. So array names, I already used names here, and that variable. And do you remember what this returns? This returns 3 values, this one. But since I'm running for each, so on every value I iterate. So first I take this func. So all I do is I do echo. So I wrote a command line, this curly bracket, when I hit enter here, so it will just wait for my next command, put a question mark, because I haven't closed this for each loop with this curly bracket. So I do echo dollar array and then brackets dollar this key here, and you can see, and then print it every time. It didn't print the key, but print the content of for each key. All right, so practice those one. Practice is the key with scripting or with everything. Hope you got it. Let me know if you have any question. That's all for now. See you next time. Bye.